Good morning, good morning, good morning. Great day, great day, great day. This is Dr. Franco Taylor here on the Right Stuff Helps radio broadcast, coming to you on WMPR 90.1 FM on your radio dial, broadcasting out of Jackson, Mississippi for the Delta area, maybe Louisiana a little bit, coming back over towards Alabama. I don't know. We got 100,000 watts, so I'm sure some of you will be able to tune in and get this information. We're talking the right stuff. And I always tell you that we say right stuff because most of us spend our lives listening to, looking at, eating and drinking, and just plain old doing the wrong stuff. And I say it's about time that we got our hands on the right stuff. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, and yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We don't want to leave anybody out there. This morning, we're going to divide the show in half like we used to do back in the beginning when we first started the show last year. And what we're going to do is we're going to talk first about home-based businesses, small businesses. Why would someone even consider a side business, a small business, a home-based business? We're going to talk about that just a little bit to kind of see for ourselves why we need to consider, especially at a time like this when COVID has literally removed so many jobs. Millions of jobs have literally disappeared. People have been let go and had to go home. And then there were a few that were able to work from home, but basically the mainstream was shut down because of this COVID situation, as it has happened in many years before this. Every 8, 9, 10 years, something goes down big, catastrophic, and it shuts us down and jobs go out. But guess what? On the end of that, on the flip side, the Dow Jones, the stock market goes right back up and even higher than it was before, dating back to the time of the Depression. So there's still hope, folks. There's still hope. But let's talk a little bit about, again, I'm Dr. Franco Taylor, and we're here with the Right Stuff Helps radio broadcast. And we're talking about home-based business. We're talking about small businesses, okay? Small business mall. We're going to talk about small businesses first. And the difference between small business and home-based business, that small businesses, most of them have brick and mortar. In other words, they have buildings that they operate out of, whereas small home-based businesses operate basically, as it says, out of home. But if we look at businesses today, we're looking at probably about, I tell you what, let's do it another way. I'll go straight to the small business first. Small business first. Let's do it that way. Makes better sense if we do it that way. Small businesses, you're talking roughly about 30.7 million small businesses in the United States. 30.7. Are you listening to me, folks? 30.7 million small businesses in the United States, which account for 99% of all the businesses in the United States. Are you getting that? All businesses in the United States, your top, your Fortune 500 companies, all those big billion-dollar companies. But guess what? 99% of the businesses in America, in the United States, are, guess what? Small businesses. That's right. Mom and pop businesses actually hire and employ more individuals, more employees than all the top companies in America. I hope y'all are listening to what I'm saying. Small businesses is where it's at. That's where everything started. This big industrial revolution came on later, but back in the days, all businesses were small businesses. And so 99% of the businesses that exist in America today are small businesses. And actually, what determines a business or a small business in the United States, we say, any business that has less than 500 employees would be called a small business. But in Europe, if a business has less than 50 employees, it's called a home-based business. Australia and other countries say all you need is 15 people to have a small business. Okay. But again, small businesses, again, there's quite a few. We said there's quite a few, and they equal almost 64% of the jobs created in the United States every year. That's small businesses, folks, small businesses. Um, we might ask, who drives the money market? Who drives the economic growth? Well, 90% of the growth of the global economic growth is because of small businesses. Okay, and we're going to talk about one of the reasons why people go into business, but we'll do that on the home business side. But then small businesses were what hit very hard by COVID-19 crisis. Over 31%, almost 1/3 of small businesses were rendered non-operational. In other words, they basically had to shut down. They had to quit operating because of the COVID. And that's going to be very, very important. So small businesses, but everybody can't open a small business. Everybody can't open a McDonald's or a Subway. You can't, or Pancake International House of Pancakes. Everybody can't get $1 million loan, but everybody, just about everyone, can open a home-based business. So you say, okay, why would someone open a home-based business? Well, let me give you some statistics. Home-based businesses in the United States, you're looking at about upwards of 18.3 million and growing. That's right. Between 34.3 and 36.6 households in the United States have home offices at home, in their home. Are you getting what I'm saying? Home offices in their home. So we're looking at small home-based businesses. So again, I want to throw out a little plug here. We're in the process here at Right Stuff Health and Wellness Center. We're in the process of putting together on our website, The Right Stuff Helps. We will actually have what we would call a small business, a home-based and small business mall, where you can go into business for yourself and you can shop the best businesses. Remember, at our company, The Right Stuff, we only bring you the right stuff, where you can actually shop and find the home-based business which fits you, the one that fits your style. That'll be available in the next few weeks. So stick with us, listen to us, check us out on the website, and you'll be able to grab hold of a business that suits you at home, even during this COVID time. And we'll be talking to you about that. But again, home-based businesses, why would someone want to go into a home-based business? Well, first of all, most people, if you ask them, when they were surveyed, they said because they wanted to be their own boss. Are you listening to me? They wanted to be their own boss, and they basically wanted to work from home. They wanted to be their own boss, work from home, work in their PJs. Okay, that's right. Not have to worry about all that traffic getting to work. Okay. Going through all that haze of cars on the interstate, just trying to get to work and come back home too. Okay, all the accidents that you have in the run of a year, all the parking tickets, so forth, so on. They didn't want that. They wanted to be their own boss, and they wanted low overhead or low expense. And so they were already paying for the house. Okay, already paid for the grass to be cut and electricity. So why not be able to do business from home? And something else happened when you did business from home. You were able to write off part of your travel, your hotel, business meals, and even a part of your home. That's right. If you were using your home, say you were using your den as your office, and the den was a pretty nice sized den, all right? Maybe about 1/5 of the house was your den. And let's just say the living room, you had your brochures sitting there for when the people when they came in, they're sitting there in the living room or in the vestibule, whatever you got your front room, they're sitting there. Well, the living room is a pretty nice size of the house too. Okay, and you might have other brochures in the bathroom. I don't know. But if 3 of your 5 rooms are being used for your business, then guess what? That's 3/5 of the house that can be written off by Uncle Sam. Are you listening to me? He gives you that ability to do that. You have that option simply because you are a home-based business. So these are not exemptions. These are deductions. And most of you don't even have a clue about a deduction. But deductions are what your multi-million dollar, billion dollar, trillion dollar corporations do. That's right. In some cases, they will actually have $1 billion loss. Then Uncle Sam still gives them $1 million rebate. I don't know if you heard what I said. They got a rebate even though they had a loss. Those are things we'll talk about at another time when we go in depth and talk about home-based business and why you ought to have one. But one of them is because you get a chance to write off a good deal of your expenses, like your home expenses, your travel expenses, your hotels, flight tickets, so forth, so on. You get to write them off. Uncle Sam says, okay, you use these things in order to do your business, so I'm going to give you a write-off. Folks, I hope you're listening to me. It's Dr. Franco Taylor here on the Right Stuff Helps radio broadcast. This morning, we're talking about small business, home-based business, and why, in this case, you want to have a home-based business because you get a chance to do a lot of write-offs. As a matter of fact, one big write-off is your mileage. You don't want to write off the service on your car. You'd rather write the mileage off. Why? Because right now you can get right at about 58 cents per gallon. Oh, I don't know if you heard me. So that means if you drove 580 miles, okay, at 58 cents a gallon, how many miles is that? How much money is that? Oh, I don't know if are you adding it up? 10 cents a gallon, 58 cents a gallon times 500 gallons. How much is that? Is that something like $250, $260 or so? I hope you're listening, folks. If it's a round trip, 1,000, that's right at 500, almost $600 round trip just for going to do some business. You go do what you're going to do. You give out a few cards. You talk to a few people about the business, and it is a business trip, folks. It's a business trip. And we're not trying to beat. Most of you are doing that. I know a lot of people that travel 8, 9, 10 times a year with the home-based business that they're involved with. A multi-level marketing business is a home-based business, and they travel all over the place and don't get any money back. Don't even realize. They just enjoy going, being a part of the business, meeting other distributors and so forth. But they didn't realize that they could have written off a good deal of that. As a matter of fact, there's something that happened not too long ago, and that was when we had President Trump. I didn't want to say, I almost said something else. President Trump was our president, and in passing of the Farm Bill, something happened. You've always been able to, as a home-based business, employ your children. Hope you hear what I'm saying. Let's just say you had a small-based business, well, in this case, a home-based business at home, and say the children cleaned up those 3 rooms that you were using for your business. They cleaned them up. They came in and vacuumed, picked the paper up off the floor. So guess what they were at that point? They were your employees. They became your employees. Oh, I hope you hear what I'm saying. They're employees at that point. They go out to the mailbox. They bring the mail in. Okay. Oh man, I don't think you hear what I'm saying. They're employees and you can pay them. And guess what? This is how it works. You can employ your children that are at home with you. You literally, if you're paying the bulk of their welfare and they're taking care of them, then guess what? It used to be around $4,800 a year that you could actually give to them as an employee. But Trump, in passing his bill, took it up to $12,000 a year per child that you could write off. And this is how it works. You open up a business account, an account with you and the child's name on it, okay? It's an account, not business account, but an account with the 2 of your names on it, okay? And at that point, you pay your child out of that account. Okay. Yeah, up to $12,000 a year. Each child, that's $1,000 a month. Are you listening to what I'm saying? And it's written off, it's tax free to you and to the child. It doesn't matter what it's spent for. So you can spend it, they can spend it, doesn't matter. You're writing that check to the child and it can be used for whatever. But the key is you literally get to write it off. Uncle Sam gives you that write off of $12,000 per child. 3 children is $36,000, folks. I'm taking time to talk about this because most of you have never heard it. Don't really. You've heard companies tell you, well, you got write-offs, right? But nobody sits down and helps you with that. But if you decide to go into one of the businesses that we'll have available for you in our home-based business mall where you can shop, you decide on the one you want, and we'll help you understand more about the deductions for home-based business. Okay. So again, that's really, 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 really deep when you realize that you can travel. I remember going to San Antonio for a family reunion. The matriarch of our family, Miss Mariah Redmond, my mother-in-law, was the matriarch at that time, and everybody came from around the United States to go to San Antonio for a family reunion. So drove 500, almost 600 miles, as we were saying a bit ago. That was round trip. We rented a car, a nice big van in order to carry our family up there. Had hotels while we were there, went out to dinner while we were there. Now, it was a family reunion, but this is the way it worked out. I talked to people about the business, my brother-in-laws, different members of the family. I passed out cards. I even gave samples of that business that we were in. And so actually, what kind of trip was that? That was a business trip. All 1,200 round trip miles of it. It was a business trip. And it just so happened that while we were there, the family reunion broke out. I don't know if y'all hear what I'm saying. I like for us to laugh, have a good time. But again, you drive many, many miles, you have hotels, you buy dinners, you take people out to lunch because of your home-based business. You're excited about it, but you don't even realize that Uncle Sam says, okay, these small businesses, these home-based businesses are bringing in the majority of the revenue that's coming in every year into the United States coffers. And so we're going to give you some breaks. And you laughed when President Trump, oh, excuse me, didn't mean that. Just little jokes that folks have all the time. And that's what I was trying to keep from saying. But bottom line, when President Trump passed that farm bill and he said something, he said that he paid less in taxes than what? His maid. And a lot of you got mad at him. Why be mad at him? Just play the game that he plays. And that is the United States game. That's the way it goes. The government gives small businesses and home-based businesses deductions that you don't get as an employee. And remember, I talked about it all the time. I talk about the fact that most of us in America, we work for food. We see the guys and the girls on the corner with the little sign says, we'll work for food. Well, that's what all of you are doing. You're working for food. Why do I say that? Simply because you get your check, and we'll talk about this at another time too. You get your check. Let's say you're making $4,000 a month, okay? And you go and you get a loan for a home. What are they going to base that loan on? They're going to base it on that $4,000 a month salary that you get, your annual income, right? And you go and buy a car. And this is a nice $300-400 a month car. What do they base that car loan on? They base it on the $4,000, the gross that you're bringing in. Oh, I see. And you go and buy some lawnmowers and some more equipment for the house and so forth, and you get it on a loan, you get some credit cards. What do they base all those on? They base it on the gross. But if a person's making $4,000 a month, in reality, they're probably only bringing home $2,500 a month. Are you listening to what I'm saying? So if you're basing all of those bills and loans and interest notes on a $4,000 income, but you're only bringing in $2,500, guess what? You're already in the hole. You're upside down and can't figure out why your budget won't work. Well, Uncle Sam, they know what they're doing. The powers to be are loaning you the money on money that you don't even have. So therefore, it's almost impossible for most of you to keep up with those credit card notes, with those bank notes, with those loan car notes, with those house notes, because the money that they gave it to you on wasn't money that you ever saw. One day we'll talk about that a little more in detail. But the key is that is the reason for a home-based business, because a lot of those expenses can be written off when you're actually trying to make a profit. You might not make a profit, but as long as you're trying to make a profit, you get Uncle Sam's help in taking care of your expenses. And some of those expenses are expenses that you're going to incur in your house and in your lifestyle anyway. So Uncle Sam just happens to help you take care of a little bit of that. So again, we're looking at reasons why it's so important to think in terms of a home-based business. But again, we were told, and everybody probably remembers this, especially folks in their 50s, 60s, and 70s like I am, we were told back in the day that you would go to school and get a good education, not just an education, but a good education. And then you would use that good education to go out and get you a good, high-paying job. And then you would work on that job for 35, 40 years maybe, okay? And then you would retire and live happily ever after. That was the dream. That was the check that Uncle Sam or that the United States wrote you. But it was a bad check because most people found out that that wasn't true. They reached the time to retire, 30, 40 years, and guess what happened? They couldn't afford to retire because now they're retiring on 40% of the money that they were making, and the money that they were making wasn't really enough. Now you're operating on much less than that, over half of that less coming in, but your bills don't go down because you retire. Your house note doesn't lessen or diminish because you retire. Your grocery bill, all of that still, car notes are still the same, and after you retire, and you just retired on less money than you had to begin with. So what do? You're 60 years old, 70 years old, and you end up at Kroger and Walmart and Target, standing at the door saying, "Hello, welcome to Walmart." And when it's raining and icy and snow, you have to go out and push those bass carts in your 60s and your 70s. So again, what am I saying to you? I'm saying that Uncle Sam wrote us a bad check. That's not the way it should be. What you can do, you can get in touch with us. Again, you can call us. Right Stuff Helps radio broadcast. You can call us at 901-425-2273. That's 901-425-2273, and ask us how you can look at going into business for yourself. Ask us how you can shop on our mall. We'll give it to you over the phone, via the phone, and through this mall, we'll give you some options of some of the top home-based businesses on the market today. How do we know? Because we're the right stuff. We shop it for you. We're only going to bring you the right stuff. 41 years, I've been in business for myself, and I've taught business. I've taught small-based business and home-based businesses to thousands, literally thousands of people. And we've seen many people change their lives with a home-based businesses, especially when they found out that they had deductions. There were legal deductions that were given to them by Uncle Sam because they were in business and trying to make a profit, Okay, hope y'all hear me. You can call us again. Dr. Franco Taylor, you can call me at 901-425-2273, 901-425-2273. We're talking about home-based business. We're talking about how you can start making a difference, even during this time of COVID, when people are forced out of jobs, when jobs are just not there anymore. Those jobs are never coming back. So you want to look for some things. In the second half of our show, we're going to tell you the kind of things to look for as we give you one of the businesses that's in our home-based mall. that's coming up, we're going to give you one of the businesses in that mall. We're going to tell you why you ought to be a part of it. We're going to give you some powerful, powerful pieces. We're going to show you why it will change, reverse, recover, and restore your health and your wealth. I like double do. I like double dipping. I like getting 2 for 1. And that's what we're going to talk to you about on the second half of our program. But for right now, we're talking about home-based business, why it's so important, what you can do with a home-based business, and what it'll do for you. You get to spend more time at home with the family. Because you're your own boss, no one can tell you that you can't have that vacation. Are you listening to me? You can actually be at home, and because you're not at work, you're actually on vacation. Okay, so it's like a paycation. All right, you get paid to not be in a brick and mortar at work, rushing through the traffic, all that craziness. Okay, you actually don't have to do that. Again, there are some of you who are working, not knocking a job. I work job in my life. Well, I worked for about a year and a half in my life. But for the last 50 odd years, we've not worked for anybody except for ourselves and our family. And it's been a plum pleasing pleasure. It's been a blessing, folks. I'm telling you. So it's something that you really need to look at. Being in business for yourself, all the benefits, all the kudos, all the bennies that you get. And a good deal of them come from Uncle Sam. Folks said, well, you can't do that. You can't do that. I said, well, yes, you can too. And the reason I say that is simply because there was a situation in the Bible, if you all will remember, where Christ literally was out teaching on the mountainside. And the Jews came to him, the Sanhedrin, and they tried to trap him. They said, we know that you are a man who does not like to pay taxes. What's up with that? In other words, they tried to down him, diss him in front of all the multitudes. And so Christ told them, he said, I tell you what, do. Go to the water and get me a fish, bring it back, and let's see what we'll see. So they did. They went to the edge of the water. They caught a fish. They brought the fish back. Then Christ told, the stories in the Bible, told them to reach into the fish's mouth and pull out a coin. They did. And they pulled out a penny or whatever, that copper, whatever it was. But when they pulled it out, he took the penny and he said, render unto Caesar what is Caesar and unto God what is God's. And so he gave them the coin. And when he handed them the coin, he was paying the tax that they wanted paid at that time. Now let's look at this real quick. I want y'all to think about it. Use your Holy Ghost imaginations. So when they walked across the ground, on their way on the beach, on the way to the water, whose ground were they walking on? It was Caesar's. I know everything belongs to God, but that territory belonged to Caesar. When they got to the water's edge and reached into the water to get the fish, whose water were they reaching into? That was Caesar's water. That was his territory. His stamp was on it. And then when they pulled out the fish, whose fish was that? It was Caesar's fish. So when they took the coin out, whose coin was it? It was Caesar's. How do we know? Because his inscription, his face was on it. Like the president's on the money, his face was on the money. So when Jesus handed him the coin, whose money was Jesus paying the tax with? Caesar's. Are you getting this? The principle is the same, that the government, Caesar, okay, Uncle Sam, literally gives you the deductions. So it's as if Caesar is paying for your various things that you need, the expenses that you need to operate your business. And again, we'll explain that a little bit more on a further call, another call. Again, I'm Dr. Franco Taylor. You're here with me on the Right Stuff Helps radio broadcast. This morning, we've been talking about small and home-based businesses, especially because those are the ones that you can go into for little or nothing, less than $100. You can actually start a home-based business that can actually set you free, that can help you restore your finances. Get that cancer that's in your pocketbook and in your wallet. You can turn that all around with a home-based business. So you can give me a call at 901-425-2273, or you can reach us at info@rightstuffhealth.com. Info@rightstuffhealth.com. That's our email address. Or again, you can just call me 901-425-2273 and say, Dr. Franco, what's this about this home-based business? How can I do that? Can you explain to me again those details of why it's so important, why it's going to be so valuable to me, how it can help me change the life of me, my children, and my children's children by taking my own life, my own finances into my own hands? I didn't know I could do that, but it sounds interesting. I'd like to know how. Please give me a call, Dr. Franco Taylor, 901-425-2273, 901-425-2273, and ask me how it can be done. And until next week, same time, same station, this is Dr. Franco Taylor saying, I love you and may God bless. Right stuff, the right stuff.